we weren't able to record our conversation last week on the cheesecake debacle, I thought it would be very productive to go over it again. So we don't have
Sounds
to go into,
absolutely not productive.
I know. So I understand we talked about a lot of things last week or whenever we last discussed it. But just a summary of the incident that transpired and our thoughts on the whole dating culture and how we view those kind of things from both perspectives, the man's perspective and then the woman's perspective. Jessica, I think last time you gave a really good and thorough breakdown of what actually occurred. And I mentioned this that I thought it was like pre-recorded, like, like a skit, like where people were like, oh my gosh, this is gonna get everyone talking and, conversations going, debates happening. Cause that's a lot of what like social media is now. It's like what's going to grab people's attention, what's going to go viral and stuff.
Yeah, which I was gonna say, like, first things first, let's not have, well, in situations like this, when I feel like she's just trying to belittle him. I think, did my internet go out? But it's like,
It
don't
did for
have
a little bit.
recording it be your first, like,
Mm-hmm.
inclination, like, maybe pause. And then, like, if it
Right.
feels like a situation where it's like, oh my gosh, I need evidence of something, like a
Mm-hmm.
crime, or, various things where it makes sense to record.
A guy's
This,
being
not one of
aggressive and
them.
you want to make sure you document it. Yeah.
Yeah, this, not one of them. Like,
Right.
for
So
what?
Jessica, if you could.
She definitely did this to humiliate him and
Yeah.
like I guess make herself look cool, which I feel like backfired because honestly made her look lame.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
To the girls that, try to make that, their kind of attitude and stuff. I don't know how many people that was like that. You know how, I don't know if you remember, they had those low vibrational plate debacle, like that
mm-hmm.
that girl had the plate of food and it was like it was a barbecue. So I'm like, what do you expect her to have on her plate? But it was just a lot of the barbecue, I guess. And then the girl that was hosting the event was like, that's low vibrational. Like she said, you should have a plate that looks like mine. And it was just like little tiny portions of everything, like a little bit of potato salad, a little bit of salad, a little bit of chicken, whatever. And she was like, the way your plate looks, it doesn't look high vibrational, whatever. And that was like a whole thing. Like you had an event that had barbecue and you expected people not to eat the barbecue.
Like I had a
It's just
barbecue,
that kind of thing I'm talking about. Like,
that my food all touches. Like you're not gonna see gaps in my plate at a
right.
barbecue.
At a
My
barbecue.
be covered with everything if it's good. Like if people know what they're
Right.
doing. Everything. So yeah, that backfired because I feel like she thought she did something with that too, just like this girl, which I'll go into for everyone that doesn't know. Um, we're talking about the video that went viral where this woman was on a date with this man, and apparently she took too long. He picked her up. She was taking too long to get ready, so they missed their original reservation. I don't know if we know what restaurant it was at, but apparently it was a really nice restaurant. And so he ended up taking her to Cheesecake Factory. And she made this really big ordeal about going to Cheesecake Factory. Like she wouldn't get out of the car. Mind you, he picked her up. So she's now sitting in his car. And he got out of the car to open the door for her, right? Like just chivalry. Okay.
Mhm.
And she locked his car doors before he got around to her side. So he couldn't even get into his own car. And she proceeded to like record the whole thing and just, I guess she was on live probably, and was talking mess to all of her probably 2 followers that were watching, just talking about how Cheesecake Factory, like he had the audacity to take her to Cheesecake Factory and she was worth more than that.
Mm.
that and then that sparked a whole bunch of debate and controversy because everyone loves Cheesecake Factory. And I just cannot ever see myself being like, I am too good for Cheesecake Factory, because no, I'm not. I love
Right.
Cheesecake Factory. I would like to meet the person that's too good for Cheesecake Factory, because how?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I think
after we had this conversation last week, though, I saw a memory on Instagram of Jeannie and I at Cheesecake Factory a year ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at us at Cheesecake.
girl, and the thing about that is that one of our mutual friends who's a chef, he's like a chef, like a real chef. He was like, "Oh, where is this place? Like, where are you guys eating tonight?" Like, it was like, we're not at any fancy like 5-star Michelin restaurant. We're at Cheesecake. Like, it just looks really nice, and Cheesecake's not bad. Like, it's
No,
good.
that's where like a lot of families, I feel like, have celebrations. Like,
They do. I mean, I used to work at Cheesecake Factory like many, many moons ago, and Cheesecake Factory is a vibe. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like I don't care how old I get, how much money I make. Like, there is nothing wrong with Cheesecake Factory. Like, the
No.
food is good. You have tons of options.
You'll have leftovers.
You'll have leftovers. I mean, I don't know. And then they have cheesecake. So
I was
it's
gonna
like,
say, I'd go just for the cheesecake and have on many occasions.
Mm.
I don't know. It was just very bizarre. And I feel like it was a case where she tried to look a certain way and have this attitude that, a lot of like women, I feel like now portray on social media. Like, I don't know, I'm too good for all this stuff. And so,
I was gonna
anyway,
say, it kind of goes back to our comparison conversation forever ago, however long that was. But like, yeah,
yeah.
why do you feel the need to like do this to feel like you're better than someone, which is just not, yeah, not it.
The thing is also, I'm like wondering, like, oh, and then just a side note to wrap up the story. So she finally let him back into his car, and he was so polite the whole time, like totally a gentleman. And so he ends up being like, okay, well, I'm about to take you back home. And she had the nerve to cop an attitude. And she was like, what? You mean we're not going here? And he's like, no, I think that it's probably best I just take you back home since you seem unhappy. And she just was like in total disbelief that he was ending the date. Like, girl, you just showed your whole like crazy negative
Right.
bad attitude, and you expected him to still take you out.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, it seems very delusional. Like, to the point where it's like, I'm surprised he didn't just leave her there. Like, if, because like,
Be like, yeah, we're going in. No.
no, I would have been like, yeah, this is it. Like, you're right. We're going to another place, not Cheesecake. Open her car door, let her out, and get an Uber home. Because like, at that point, you've locked me out of my own vehicle, so I don't know what you're capable of. Like, this is not your car to be like dictating what things. And like I was saying last week, I'm not getting into a car with someone I'm going on a first date with. Like, I'm not going to let you know where I live. I'm not letting you pick me up until I know who you are and we have that kind of rapport. Because like we were saying, like, our home, our space is our place of sanctuary. Like, you have to make sure it's protected and that people aren't just coming up. Jessica, you had that little situation that you were telling us about. But it's like, I don't know. I guess it depends on like where you live, and like if it's like you're meeting them on the corner, which is, I don't know, whatever. But just for me, like, I like to control like when I leave, when I'm going, if it's not going well, I want to be able to leave when I want to leave, just to have that sense of control. But the fact that she was just kind of like, oh, no, you're gonna wait outside your car until I'm ready to let you back in, and then like we're gonna be just sitting here arguing. Like, I am already doing you a favor by taking you somewhere else after our first date. I know a lot of guys that would have been the first and last straw. Like, you missed our reservation. That's pretty much it. This girl's ungrateful. This girl doesn't know.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, and I feel like this gives like even more to that story of like,
yeah,
girls don't appreciate it anyway.
Right,
like,
right.
me trying to open the car door, why am I gonna do it?
Right.
So yeah, bad luck on all women. Don't associate us with her.
Oh, they like sparked a big debate like between men and women, and then I think guys came out with like a list of places like not to take women, and I think we had talked about that.
Things they wouldn't pay for before marriage too.
Actually, on the list that I saw of like that guys put out about where not to take a woman on a first date, church was one of them, and I disagree. I went on a date with this guy one time, and our
A
first
date?
It was a first date. And we went to church, and I was like, whoa, this is something new. Like, I don't know. I liked it because it was something new. Like, I'm used to like going to eat or, doing something like that. Going to church, I was like, okay, I can respect this. Like, I can get down with this. Like, it's just so innocent and so pure. And like, we didn't even do anything after. Like, we didn't go anywhere. We
Really,
just
not even to lunch?
no. It was just.
Are you sure it was a date?
Does he know this was a date?
Yeah. No, it was. But yeah, I just don't think it was a good time. Like, it was a good time. And that goes back to what we said last time. Like, like a date doesn't have to, like, how she put like a price on her date without even going. Like, a date does not have to include money, like it's just going somewhere, like, just having a good time, like getting to know them. Like we talked about, obviously, like, don't try to take me to your house on your first date. We're not chilling at the house. We're not doing that. Like, we need to be in an environment with other people, and I want to see your creativity, but it's not all about money. You don't have to spend a lot of money on me on the first date.
But if you've asked me out, then I'm assuming you're paying for the date. We did establish that last time.
We did establish that. So like, if you ask me out and we're going someplace where money is going to be needed.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The assumption is that you are paying for it.
I assume you're going to pay. However, I am going to offer.
Yes, that's where we had a little bit of
right. And I was saying I would act.
I would act like
I'll be keeping my eyes on you.
We're in like all three different places. So like, Corinne's gonna offer, Janie's gonna act, and I'm not. I'm going to thank you for the day, had a good time, and fully expect for you to reach for the check and do, what you need to do. And again, that's just how I feel like when you're dating me, when you're courting me, like that's what I expect now, especially in the beginning, right? You're getting to know me. I'm getting to know you too. But as a man, I fully do expect that from you. And that's where it came into the whole, like, because sometimes I feel like men hearing that, they're like, oh, you're just like a gold digger or whatever. And it's like, no, we could be going out to coffee. It could be a $5 date. You're still pursuing me and you're courting me. And as a man, I just expect that. Now, if we continue to date, like, of course, am I going to always expect you to pay? No. And I have no problem paying, like, as we get to know each other, I don't have a problem with that. But in the beginning, absolutely, that's where my standards are. So I feel like anything else is not a date.
No, I agree. I totally will put you in the friend zone if I'm having to pay for a first date that you asked me on. Like, we'll sit there and be like, even if I'm not paying for the entire thing, let me just put that out there.
100%. Yeah.
I'm paying for what I
split.
right. I'm paying for what I got. And then you can just pay with what you got, and then we can just be cool. We're homies. See you on the flip side, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely not paying for the entire thing. I did have a situation where I was having that kind of discussion with someone, and it was more so like on like, what if he's not there yet? Like, you don't see his potential. And I was just like, it's not that. Where I am, and this is fine, because when guys try to like combat with like, oh, you only want, yeah, and that's fine. Like, if you're not him, that's okay. The next guy will be or will not be able to do that for me. But it was just kind of like, you're not willing to like wait for a guy to be where you are, and I'm just like, it's the ambition and it's the acting on, what you say you're going to do,
like, well, that's fine to be at like that stage of growth and potential. However, have your action of date match that. Like, so you
Demand.
know you can afford it. And like,
Right. Right. And it was just poor planning, poor execution. And it was just like, you say you want to do all these things, but your actions aren't aligning with any of these things that you're saying. So it's just like, you're kind of just, speaking out, well, never mind. You know what I'm trying to say. It was just, it was hoopla, so
hoopla.
hoopla.
Yeah. And also I feel like there doesn't, like, kind of going back to what I was saying, like, I feel like men shouldn't be mad if like that's how I feel too about it, because that just lets you know, like, okay, well, maybe this is not like, maybe we aren't supposed to date, and that's okay. Like, move on. There's so many men and women in the world. Not everybody's gonna be your cup of tea. I think my problem is like when I feel like men get so like they get so angry about or offended about like how you choose to be for yourself, right? And it's like, I feel like nothing that I've said is like super outrageous. Her Cheesecake Factory video, that was outrageous, right?
Outrageous.
But I feel like me, especially because I don't really spring it up on you. I mean, we don't discuss it beforehand either, but I just feel like, I don't know, maybe I've just been lucky. Like maybe they just like felt the vibe or whatever, but I've never run into a situation where it was awkward. Like when it came down to the end of the date, like who was like that. I don't know. I feel like the men that I've dated, it just what everyone understood. Like everyone just kind of knew.
Yeah,
And
there was no awkward, like you're both staring at the bill, like
there was none of that. We
Oh
didn't
my gosh, can you imagine?
stare down. I'd be like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
I saw something on Instagram where that happened. This guy went to the bathroom. Actually, I feel like the girl should have known because they went out.
Dude.
Huh?
Was it the scammer guy that he like ordered a whole bunch of food before she got there and he like left?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yes.
Oh
And
my
I saw
goodness. So
another
like got there
video,
early, ordered a bunch of stuff, and then
a bunch of stuff waiting. She got there. I think she had like a drink or something, and then he went to the bathroom, left.
people
The
are
audacity
wild. They're wild. That
for a free meal. Like if you need food, like you could have just said so.
I mean, but could he have though? Like, could he really said so?
I mean, if you're in need, there are places that provide that kind of thing.
No, there are, but are they going to give you oysters and crab legs and
He
whatever he was ordering?
he wanted the good stuff. He said, "Forget about the soup kitchen. I want Ruth Chris."
Okay, so then I saw another video. Actually, I would love to know your thoughts on this. I don't know if you guys saw it. This
I'm just like, keep going. Sorry.
Instagram's crazy. So this man invited this woman out on a date, and she ordered a lot. She ordered, I don't know if it was like some
48 oysters.
Yes, you already know.
Why do I know everything?
You know the videos. So she ordered all this, like 3 things of a dozen oysters. She ordered, she had like a few cocktails, and then I think she also got an entree.
Yeah.
She went all out, right? And he only had like a drink or 2.
I mean, at that point, I can't afford it.
Well, the check came, and I don't remember exactly what happened. I think he put down the money for his drinks, and then he like basically told her like, I'm not paying for that.
Yeah.
Again, because we're in the age of filming everything. So I think he filmed it. Can you believe this guy? He invited me out, and
yes, I can.
Yeah.
See, and like in that scenario, I'm 100% offering, and I'm 100% not expecting you to even split that with me. Like at that point, I would just add your drinks to my tab. Like,
yeah, you might as well.
I feel like that's just, I don't know. That's weird. Honestly, I probably would have slowed down if I saw that you weren't eating anything. I'd have been like, whoa, what's going on? Are you not hungry? Are you feeling okay? Like,
and I'm the type, I'm the type that when I'm on a date, like I subconsciously will order on the same level that you're ordering. So I will okay, well, this is not intentionally, but sometimes I will eat before a date so I'm not like starving.
Mhm.
And I'm
Oh,
not like, because sometimes my eyes will be bigger than my stomach, and I'll just be like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. And I'm just like, what do I want?
mhm.
But I do gauge my what I'm getting off of like what he's getting. So I'm like, oh, what are you thinking about getting? If it's just like, oh, let's share some appetizers and we'll just kind of snack on everything. Cool. If you're getting something like off the entree menu, I'll get something off the entree menu. Obviously, I'm not about to OD on like, oh, let me get like 3 drinks, let me get the biggest steak you have with the lobster on the side, like the works. You like give me the cheesecake with the double tier chocolate fudge. I'm not doing all that. Like, I'm just gonna kind of like fill it out. So I don't want to be like be like it's unfair, like, oh, she like just ran up a check on me. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure like we're on the same level. I don't know if anyone else does that, but I will subconsciously like,
I don't eat before my dates.
I do.
I am ready to enjoy that most likely burger and fries.
Yes.
I
Wherever I
don't eat
am.
on my dates either, and I don't think I necessarily eat to match them. In a sense, like if you just get an appetizer and I want to get an entree, I'm going to do that. But I'm not going to use this as an opportunity to run up a check.
Exactly. Yeah. I
Because
might match you on drinks, but
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't, I think that's also like, I don't know, that's kind of shady. So, but yeah, but people do it,
Yeah.
do it.
yeah, I'm like, that lady's lucky he
Awkward
even
too.
paid
Like,
for
what
his
did you
drinks.
expect him to be like? Look at this feast that you got us that you didn't ask if I wanted any of it.
Like
Like,
she
yeah,
had no problem, and I love oysters too, but I was like, girl, you got
that's a
you
lot.
busted.
That's a lot. I'm like, you ate that alone, or was
I was
he
gonna say,
helping?
did she offer? Like, this is for us.
I don't even think she offered. I don't know if it was shown in the video, but I got the vibe she didn't offer. She probably offered him to get himself one. She probably
Yeah.
was, you should get a whole dozen for
Get another
yourself.
one. Get
Yeah,
another
you
one.
get one too.
The culture that we live in right now, I feel like there's a lot of like, I feel like we're just always clashing. There's a lot of just like, it's like men against women instead of like what brings us together instead. And I feel like, when are we going to get to the point that we see the things that the other person's trying to show us? And it's like not just on our part as women, like, oh, I wish guys would do this, I wish guys would do this, but like also like how the men are feeling, like how men feel about like dates and like paying for things and why they feel that way, and like the psyche behind those kind of thoughts, like your upbringing, your household, how that looked, how your dad treated your mom. Like, were you raised in a single parent household? Like, who were the people that you looked up to? All that kind of stuff comes into play with like how people view their relationships and how they treat other people. And when they go out and they react that way, like my thing when we were talking about Cheesecake Girl, like how was she raised to expect that kind of treatment on a first date? Like, what was her like getting to the bottom, getting to the very basic level of like where people are coming from so that we can understand more and find a solution, because it's just so much clashing, and I hate it that we're always like, oh, men don't do that, women don't do this. I feel like we're always battling each other, and it's very stressful.
I feel like it's hard because I see where you're going with that and what you're saying, and I feel like that's true, but I just feel like social media has convoluted so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because even for example with Cheesecake Girl, and I love that that's her name now, with Cheesecake Girl,
Yeah.
I didn't even really believe that that's her attitude. Like that's how she was brought up. This is all she
Right.
like. It didn't even seem authentic. Like she didn't even convince me. Like, oh girl, you are too good for cheesecake. That's not the vibe that she gave
No.
off. What it gave off to me was that she is trying to emulate what she probably sees and what everyone thinks is cool. It's cool. Like I said before, it's cool to be a bad bee,
Mm-hmm.
and to have that attitude that like you are owed so much just off the just beginning, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what was conveyed to me in her attitude. Like, it didn't seem like, oh yeah, you're used to this, girl. Like,
Yeah.
you get this all
It
the time.
wasn't natural for her.
Natural. It was not giving natural, authentic, genuine. No.
Mhm.
So, and I think that's what the problem is, especially with like as you know, all the generations coming up, because social media is like it's it's so important. Like it's everywhere, you know, like people are on social media all the time, and it's like, who are you following? Like, whoever you're following and what you're seeing, that's what you are.
Mhm.
If you're seeing that constantly, that's how you think your life should be, you know.
Right.
You're like, well, how did they get it? You're comparing yourself. How did they get it? Why don't I have that? I want that, you know, like, and it's like, you don't know what people are doing behind the scenes. You don't know how they're really living. All you know is what they are projecting on social media. And for the most, people are only projecting what they want you to see, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to show you the behind the scenes. So it's unfortunate because I don't know, like I just, and I know I sound old, but like I just see all these younger kids like in high school, and like their attitudes are so stank. And I'm,
Mhm.
Yeah.
what
Or
is,
just like obsessed with the wrong thing. I like last night I felt very old, but I was at the Travis Scott concert and I was like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. But they invited people up on stage on this like moving thing, and these two guys got up on it. One of them just recorded the whole thing the entire time,
They
and
weren't
the
even
other was
experiencing it.
the other one was like living in the moment. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you feel the need to like highlight this and show this to people rather than tell the story after so
Right.
much that you are not even going to like look at it in real life. You're just going to follow it on like your little
Yeah.
screen.
yeah,
It was,
it's,
yeah, I had like a whole thought about it. I was like, we are not the
No,
same.
I feel the same way. Like big events like that, when girls are getting proposed to and they're just like, oh my God, she's proposing. Girl, you didn't propose to and you got your phone out. Best believe there's someone, hopefully your fiance has arranged for someone to be recording this already, but
right.
someone's gonna have their phone out. And God forbid you'll have the ring after to take pictures. Like the moment is the between you and your future husband. And like that whole same thing, like just being living life through a screen instead of like in real time, you know. And it's just so sad because you're never going to get these moments back. You're never going to be able to like say like, I remember seeing this. Yeah, you'll have the video to like, oh, okay, cool, but that interaction is missed, you know. That real genuine interaction, that person to person interaction is missed when you're living life through a screen. And it's very sad, you know. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely the live in the moment. That's why honestly, me and social media, like I'll go and I'll scroll and all that, but like as far as posting and stuff, like if you go look at my feed, like I don't really have that much going on because I will enjoy it and be like after like, oh, I should have taken some pictures. That's me, you know? And
Yeah.
so that's why I have
Yeah.
like it's 6 pictures or whatever on there. And
Yeah.
it's
I'm
like,
I
definitely the
go,
memory queen. I'm like, but I'm getting everyone else's memories. Like I'm like
that's good.
hoping someone will capture mine one day. But
hey, I
you
capture
guys do better. You do
yours.
better. You definitely do better.
Please. This
But
is not
yeah,
the
I
feedback
like
she gives in real life.
I just love seeing like, especially when like times come up where you're like, you know, those memories, it'll be like a year ago, you'll remember what
We
you
were
did.
at Cheesecake Factory.
Exactly. It's those kind of things where I'm like, oh my gosh, I like totally miss this person, or I totally miss going here, or these experiences and stuff like that. But definitely now that Instagram has kind of like changed, it's like, I don't know, it's always been kind of like you're just kind of looking, you're just kind of scrolling and looking. It's not so much interacting anymore. People do not interact on not social media, on Instagram specifically anymore. It's more for so curated towards that aesthetic where people are like, you know, this has happened, this is what it looks like, here's a full picture. You know, back in the day when Instagram was pretty new, we would just post anything like,
And
walked
it would have to
away
be in that moment.
in
Like,
that
you
moment,
couldn't
and you were just
upload a
posting
photo.
like you had like 1,000 photos on your Instagram because you were just posting whatever. But now I'm like, I don't even post anything unless I'm like actually doing something. Like I went on a trip or something, or but yeah, I'm like, it's not the same. And it's sad because like kids are in that fast-paced environment where they're consuming so much information so quick that they're not realizing like these are real moments, these are real people, these are real experiences, in like serious situations too, with war, with gun violence. Like these are real people, these are real lives that are being affected. It's not just a post.
Oh yeah, like I've seen so many where it's like it'll be a video of someone that got shot and like everyone's standing around recording, and it's like, who called 911? Who's
Yes.
administer CPR or like apply pressure to the wound? Like
Yes.
who's doing any of that? You're just
Yes.
recording the video to post on social media while someone is like bleeding out. Like it's crazy.
Right. Right.
But I don't know. I feel like that's a whole nother topic too, because that's why social media, it's good and it's bad. Like it's good and bad. And in the case of Cheesecake Girl, I feel like I
She
don't
needs
know.
to
I
get
feel
off
like
her phone.
it was bad for her. It backfired for her because
It definitely did backfire for her, for sure. And sorry if anyone is watching this that's like, I was rooting for her, but
We're
hey,
not sorry.
no, no,
sorry, and I would actually like you to put in the comment why
sorry,
you're
not sorry.
rooting for her, because
Yeah, exactly.
the question is like, have you been to Cheesecake? Because it is good.
Yeah.
Everyone's
been to Cheesecake.
You can't find like first of all, they have like 300 plus items on the menu. I remember because when I worked there, we had to like memorize them.
Go ahead, girl.
I can tell you now, um, but you can't tell me that there's not one thing on there that you don't like. Not one.
No. And I understand, like on special occasions, you're not expecting cheesecake, but this is a first date. This is a first date. This is not your 10-year anniversary. This is not your engagement dinner, honey. This is a first date. He does not know you. And from what he does know, he does not want to like spend this time with you. Like you're giving him all the reasons to take you to Outback. There's nothing wrong with Outback either. Chili's,
back home.
McDonald's. Yes, back home.
Gave her all the
Do
reasons.
you want a meal? Are you hungry?
And it just was funny because she really was like feeling some type of way. She was surprised when he said he was taking her back home. She was like, what? I mean, what?
You're being ungrateful.
Yeah, this is awkward that I have to kind of like let you know about yourself. Like, I don't know what you were expecting.
Like you said, Janie, like honestly, she's lucky that she didn't get left, because that could have easily been the
Hello?
choice.
Once you've locked me out of my car, you've lost all privileges. You've
On
lost
a first date too, like
you've lost it.
now you're giving me all types of like, what is
Crazy. Happening? Like there's something wrong with you now. Like I'm like, is there something not clicking in here? The wheels aren't turning. Like you're disrespecting me. You're locking me out of my car, and you still expect me to give you like clean treatment. Like, oh my gosh, you're right. Let me turn around and take you back to this other spot. There's, I know, a little spot on the cliffside you'll love.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's stupid.
But I wonder if they went on a second date.
Girl, bye.
Are we sure it was a first date?
If he did that, whatever happens next is on him, because she gave you so many signs.
Oh, 100%.
She is. So
you already had plenty of people hitting up his DMs being like, please, I'll go to Cheesecake with you.
Please. He's got so many dates now. He's like, I don't need you. People love Cheesecake.
That was the goal the whole time they were in on it.
Yeah, he's like, let me see if I can gather up some more women that
they were just having a debate, and this is like their extreme way of figuring it out.
I was just thinking
the power of social media.
I would not want to be on the negative ending of that, be like, who's willing to be the bad guy? Because you're
but it could have been a debate between them, and she's like, oh, people will agree with me, and then She was wrong.
Definitely thought people were going to agree with her.
Girl, you
I
knew the
know,
size wasn't on you.
I know some people did. But the comments, like, I won't say them because they were not positive at all for her. But like the comments did have me cracking up a little bit because I was
Yeah.
like, gosh, people were just, you know, I guess being real.
Like, people are so funny though. That's one thing. I don't know. Especially one that I loved recently, a meme of all juice aisle with all of the different cranberry options. And they're like, cranberry juice will mix with anybody. And someone commented and said Nick Crannon. And like, this is why I like the internet. Because
No, seriously,
Literally.
one thing about Instagram, it shows you like there are some really undiscovered talent out there. Like,
Yes, people are so
are
witty.
hilarious.
So witty and so quick. I'm like, how did you think about it? Like with their beats, with making songs out of nothing. I'm just like, people are so creative. Like animation. I'm just like, there's a whole world of like talent out there that's just like, you know,
Mhm.
the internet is undefeated. Like the internet will, the people of the internet, no doubt, it's undefeated. Okay. Do not go against it.